Well, another double review. This time it's more like one review plus a DLC, because I've already taken a look at something very similar to this Prime in the past. However, that doesn't mean this particular figure is bad. In fact, I'd say both of these figures are really well made, especially this old dude. Greetings people of YouTube, I'm Screaming Star, and today I'll be reviewing the Baiwei Explorer Elder, also known as a knockoff version of Studio Series Jetfire, and a bonus appearance from the Baiwei Star Leader, not Studio Series Optimus Prime. So for now, I'm going to sidetrack Prime for a bit, because I've already covered the Studio Series 05 version, links in the description, and let's focus on Jetfire for now. This figure is a knockoff of the Studio Series Revenge of the Fallen Jetfire, which was released quite a while ago and is pretty hard to find for a good price in the aftermarket. So thankfully, Baiwei have given people who missed out on that figure an opportunity to own a version of that mold. Pretty well deserved, considering that this is currently the most accurate transforming depiction of this character on the action figure market. The character himself is a live-action movie version of the Generation 1 bot of the same name, unless you're going the Skyfire route. In Revenge of the Fallen, he was a Decepticon turned Autobot who died at the end of the movie to become Optimus Prime's plot armor, which we'll talk more about later, don't worry. For now, let's talk about the packaging, and holy moly, this is massive! So massive that I can't even shoot this shot in my review station. And now after opening this huge baby up, you'll quickly realize that the box is so big because it comes in multiple pieces. Very movie accurate. Well then, I'll assemble them right quick. Be careful with this part because this tab broke on me. It'll cause for some issues later, but whatever. Now let's start Jetfire off in his jet mode, because that's the easiest mode to assemble him into, and it leaves room at the end for the main event. Oh, and Prime's here too, I guess. Let's start with him, because he's basically the same as the Studio Series 05 version. I believe this is a knockoff of SS32, but in truck mode, there's practically no difference. The paint is slightly better, but that's pretty much it. Moving on. Now this is a stellar alt mode. A great toy interpretation of the SR-71 Blackbird, save for a little head poking out action. The overall sleek shape of him from a bird's eye view definitely makes up for it though. As far as accessory storage goes, his king becomes the landing gear and the axe stores underneath. But hold on, this toy doesn't only have accessory storage, he also has upgrade storage. This set, well Jetfire in particular, comes with the DNA design kit for the combined mode, the parts of which have a form of storage in each mode. So for Jetfire, looks pretty neat. And for Optimus, originally there would have been some slots here that would attach to these two tabs, but they've removed it for this Baiwei release for some reason, so I'm just gonna plonk the feet like that and hope for the best. The hose was also originally supposed to attach us somewhere along here. There would have been some pegs in between the wheels, but now they've removed it again for some reason. So this thing is just gonna flop about like that. This is absolutely ridiculous, but I can't hate it. It's kinda cool and charming in its own way. Size-wise, Optimus is the same as SS05, while Jetfire, oh my word, this has got to be the biggest alt mode in my collection. Anyways, size comparisons. Apologize for the messy background, but here's Jetfire next to another Jetformer, the Legacy repack of Earthrise Dirge, the Baiwei Revenge of the Fallen Megatron. Comparing him to a regular 6-inch scale figure, we have the Marvel Legends Mr. Knight, and finally, the Baiwei Star Leader. Just so you can get a good look at them side by side. These vehicle modes are pretty darn good, but they're pretty much the least interesting modes that these set of figures have to offer. Well, maybe except for this big ding-dong. Now we shall slowly work our way up to the final event and transform them into their robot modes. Starting with Prime, the leg conversion is pretty much the same as SS05, so I'll only show the upper torso transformation. After a couple of neat and clever transformations, you get two incredibly accurate robot modes that capture the essence of their movie designs really well. Prime is essentially just SSO5 with a better backpack that actually taps in for once, and a slightly worse forearm section. Several accessories that are new would be an interchangeable mouthed face, looks pretty good, and an interchangeable chest block so that you can either go First Movie and ROTF or Dark of the Moon, which can't be used for the eventual combined mode unfortunately. And he also comes with two pairs of swords this time, which all look pretty cool. Other than those, his articulation is the same as SSO5, solidity is good, diecast here, moving on. Here we have Jetfire, probably one of the most impressive Studio Series leader class figures I've seen. The mechanical details here are endless, mostly coated in a nice slathering of silver paint. Sometimes I feel like he lacks color breakup, but hey, it's a live action movie design, so I get it. The head sculpt is incredibly representative of said movie design, though his eyes look a bit too squinted for my taste. Kinda goes well with the old man look though. And to complement that, you get this cane which was his landing gear in jet mode. And the old dude also comes with an axe. This axe looks a bit awkward in the way he holds it, but the cane looks alright. Always bothered me how they use the wheel as the base though. This Jetfire also comes with an extra chest for Optimus, but we'll glance over that later. Also, as far as deliberate upgrade storage goes, this is pretty much it. Looks good, I guess. Extra wings on Jetfire is kinda nice. The overall figure does look really good as well, with damn fine solidity and die-cast metal heels to tie it all up. The posing though, feels a bit boring, not gonna lie. Let me show you what I mean. So before I get into Jetfire's posability, I would like to say that Star Leader has the exact same posability as SSO5, but he has a slightly better range at the head. As you can see, the head can turn left and right just fine, whereas in the SSO5 version, it's a bit restricted. So yeah, overall on this guy, the posing is quite fantastic. But on Jetfire, yeah, he's not the best. Head can look up and down, rotate side to side, but the pivot is really limited, and that's quite annoying. That means you can barely make his head look left and right, and it's just a bit cumbersome when it comes to posing him. Also, these whiskers are on hinge joints for the transformation. I forgot to mention that. Hinge joint here and a hinge joint here for these pair of wings, and a hinge joint for these pair of wings. Shoulders rotate 360, move out that far, bicep swivel, bend at the elbow, but the forearm is really long here, so it's quite awkward when it comes to posing. Wrist swivel and a hinge joint here and a hinge joint here, which I guess do help with posability. Nothing at the waist, but the crotch splits in two, so that's understandable. Hips can move forward that far on a ratchet, back that far. He can do the splits. Thigh swivel, ratchet joint here and a ratchet joint here, very loose swivel here, calf pivot for some reason, ankles move down that far, up that far, not on a ratchet sadly. The heels can bend down, and he also has an ankle pivot. This piece can just easily plug back in, by the way. So I guess the posing here is what you would expect for a character of this nature, but with the kind of flimsy ratchets and the useless swivels here. But I'll try my best during this strike a pose segment, which will also include Star Leader. So while Jetfire may be a bit of a brick when it comes to posing, he's definitely better at it when compared to the old 2009 toy. I mean, dude could barely stand up. Plus, he definitely makes up for the lack of posability with his clever engineering and sheer size comparisons. Here he is next to Earthrise / Legacy Evolution Dirge, Baiwei Revenge of the Fallen Megatron, Mr. Knight, and finally, the Baiwei Star Leader. So there goes my wait a minute, we're still not done here, cause now it is time for us to get to the main event. The reason why I bought these two in a bundle. At the end of Revenge of the Fallen, Jetfire sacrifices himself and merges with Optimus to become... And then these pieces have nowhere to go, unfortunately. Jet-powered Prime. Man, do I miss when Optimus Prime had combined modes. Robots in Disguise 2001, Armada, Cybertron, heck now the freaking live-action movies. When Optimus combines with his trailer or any other characters or components, it's always a treat. This mode on the toy, however, is definitely more of a visual treat. He looks really cool. All the mechanical details from Jetfire and Prime culminate in this kind of forced but still fairly cohesive design. It's a great display piece to put in the center of a shelf, but as a play item, it's a bit compromised. Extremely back-heavy with gimped articulation, it's not a fun thing to pose around. He still looks amazing, but it's definitely more for display than handheld play. Though, due to some engineering compromises, it's not as screen accurate as some people might like. However, that's where the upgrade kit comes in. Now this big ass gun here you don't really need anymore unless you want to dual wield, so I'm just gonna take that off because it's kind of bothersome anyways. This is going to be a bit hard to remove, so just be careful with that. And then you're gonna want to attach these two straps to the chest piece like usual, but I'm not gonna show that on camera. It's too Like I said, you can dual wield with this gun if you like, but I'm not gonna bother. And now he's even more of a statue than before. He looks even better with all these added details that make him that much closer to his screen model, but now he's more compromised than ever. For collectors that prioritize look over everything, this will be a no-brainer. It absolutely looks the part, but for someone like me who really likes to pose his figures, yeah, this is cool, but it doesn't do much. To avoid spoiling my final verdict, let's do some size comparisons and then wrap this review up. Here's Jet-powered Prime next to Dirge, Megatron, Mr. Knight, and finally, the Studio Series 05 Optimus Prime. And there goes my review for the Baiwei Explorer Elder with a decent amount of cameo from the Baiwei Star Leader. Prime is a really good figure which I recommend if you don't have any of his original modes in your collection. Jetfire, meanwhile, is a mighty leader class figure with extremely clever engineering, but somewhat limited posing. It's still a great figure and is probably my favorite Baiwei pickup so far, and as a set, they work really well. The combined mode, while it is a brick, it's a very well made brick. Buying these two as a set was definitely a good way to go, but if you can't get them both, each of them are good figures on their own that I recommend any Beavers fan to pick up, especially those who missed out on their original molds. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like and a comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you all next time. Next review is also going to be a double review, but this time it's going to be quite interesting. Stay tuned.